Morant with a running start. Elevate! Oh, it dunks! Oh, my goodness!
Tie game in overtime. Gasol will turn his heat. It's gone! Memphis on top. 7-10 remaining. Conley now with three. Count it! A 15-point lead for Memphis. And Blake Griffin gets into it on the floor with Randolph. Hard to tell if there are any punches being thrown under there, but Griffin took acceptance.
Adams going long. Morant! He hit it! John Morant! Insanity!
You gotta be kidding me.
Welcome to Grits and Grinds, a Memphis Grizzlies podcast. Grizzlies win edition. My name is Keith Parrish. The Grizzlies beat the Orlando Magic in a game which brought them very close to making the championship bracket for Summer League. They were led by Scotty Pippen Jr. and GG Jackson. Both players have inserted themselves perhaps in the Summer League MVP discussion. On this episode, I will elaborate on that, plus talk about the win over the Orlando Magic, a win where Zach Edey once again did not play. So before I get into that, just a word from SeatGeek. As you know, SeatGeek is a ticket buying app that takes the confusion out of buying tickets. It has an easy color-coded seating map to let you know where the best deals are. Plus, if you're a first-time user, you can use my promo code FASTBREAKBREAK, and SeatGeek will take $20 off that first ticket purchase. So if you need tickets for any event, try SeatGeek and use my promo code FASTBREAKBREAK, same as my Twitter handle, FASTBREAKBREAK, for $20 off. So, for the third consecutive game in Las Vegas, Zach Edey did not play. Maybe he'll play today in the game against the Pelicans. Perhaps not. Also missing the game was Jake LaRavia, who has a sore knee after getting banged up in the win over the Mavericks, and Cam Spencer, who twisted his ankle also in that game. So with no Cam Spencer, with no Jake LaRavia, as you would expect, the Grizzlies had their best three-point shooting game of all of Summer League. I sort of joke. But, I mean, they did have their best three-point shooting game in all of Summer League. They came out very, very hot. In the first half, they made 9 out of 16 threes. That's the most three-pointers they've made in any Summer League game, including Salt Lake City, and they did it in the first half. They did not make many three-pointers in the second half, but they still finished with 12 made threes overall, and perhaps the difference in the game between them and the Magic was the made three-pointers. Now, this matchup was actually two of the better teams in Summer League so far. I got to see the Magic play when I was in Las Vegas, and I was very impressed with them. So they came in undefeated with one of the best point differentials, and the Grizzlies, of course, came into the game undefeated with the best point differential, plus 40 points through 2 games. But these teams were a little bit different because the Magic did not have Anthony Black, their lottery pick from last season, their starting point guard. So they were shorthanded. But then again, the Grizzlies themselves, very shorthanded with no Jake LaRavia, no Cam Spencer. I would argue, those are two of the top 4 Grizzlies players, not even including Zach Edey. I mean, I'm just talking about the guys who have actually played in Vegas. I mean, the best players so far for the Grizzlies, maybe controversially, I have Scotty Pippen first. And then I think Jake LaRavia might be better than GG Jackson as far as the way he's actually played in the Summer League games. Yes, GG Jackson is putting up some prodigious scoring numbers, and he did it again. This was a really impressive game from GG Jackson with his second consecutive 20 and 10 game. But still, in the aggregate, you'd say the best players for the Grizzlies in the Summer League, in some order, was Scotty Pippen Jr., GG Jackson, Jake LaRavia, and then I'd probably put Cam Spencer. And Cam Spencer missed this game, Jake LaRavia missed this game, but the Grizzlies still pulled out the victory. And like I said, they got off to a very quick start. They scored 33 points in the first quarter. I mean, GG came out gunning. I mean, he made some shots. He also airballed some shots. He pulled up from 30 feet, missed everything. He did it later. He made it. So, hey, GG was gunning. Even guys like Drew Pember came in the first quarter, hit back-to-back three-pointers, scored 8 points in the first quarter. Then in the second, the Grizzlies kind of kept dominating. They built a pretty big lead. They were up by 19. They made a mental mistake. Scottie Pippen made a mental mistake right before the half. You know how he's been talking about how he has 10 fouls to use, so he's being super aggressive. Right before halftime, it seemed like he committed a foul on purpose, even though the Magic were in the bonus. So maybe a mental mistake. The Magic cut it to 17. And then in the third quarter, the Magic erased the entire lead. The Grizzlies lost the third quarter by 16 points, so only had a 1-point lead going into the fourth. And then it was a very, of course, close game. It was tied at 80. And then once it was tied at 80, the Grizzlies ran off a 13-0 run where it was mainly Scottie Pippen dominating. That built the lead back up, but the Grizzlies basically gave it all away again. The Magic had a chance to tie it. They had the ball down 3 late in the game, but the Grizzlies pull out the victory, mainly because of Gigi and Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie Pippen specifically had 16 points in that fourth quarter. He also picked up 9 assists for the game. He only had 1 steal, though. An embarrassing 1 steal for Scottie Pippen Jr. Lowered his steals per game average to 3.7. He still has the most steals in all of Las Vegas Summer League. As far as steals per game, well, he's trailing Jake LaRavia, who's averaging 5 steals per game, but only played in 2 games. Right now, Scottie Pippen's tournament averages for Las Vegas, he's averaging 20 points per game. He's averaging 6.7 assists per game and 3.7 steals per game. Those totals, he's tied for 5th in scoring, he's tied for 5th in assists, and he is 1st in steals. I would say if you had to pick a Summer League MVP right now, Scottie Pippen is one of the leading candidates. I would have him over Gigi Jackson. I think Scottie Pippen has been more integral to the Grizzlies' success. The way he has picked up on defense, the way as a point guard, maybe the ball is in his hands a little bit more. And when you combine the scoring plus the assists and the steals, I would think Scottie Pippen Jr. is a stronger candidate. However, Gigi Jackson, one, he has better name recognition. So the media there in Las Vegas who are actually voting on this award, they might favor Gigi, and his numbers are kind of eye-popping. Gigi is now averaging over 20 points and 10 rebounds for all of Summer League. Of course, for the Grizzlies to be considered for Summer League MVP, for any of their players, they need to beat the Pelicans today. If they do that, I think they're guaranteed a spot in the semifinals. Actually, they are. They're guaranteed a spot in the semifinals, and because they're going to have one of the best records, being 4-0. And then you have 2 more games. If the Grizzlies then win the whole thing, one of the players will win MVP. Of course, the last Grizzlies player to win Summer League MVP was Brandon Clark several years ago. That Summer League team won it all behind Brandon and John Conchar and Yuta Watanabe and some other players. But the Grizzlies have a good shot at it, so maybe they will actually go for it. I think it's going to probably depend whether or not Cam Spencer and Jake LaRavia are able to play again, or if Zach Edey can suit up. They are, in my opinion, a little bit shorthanded now. It might be tough to run the table, but who knows? I'm not going to underestimate this team because they do have very solid depth, even in a game like this where you're missing some of your main guys. You know, Dickie Giroux's always there. There's one thing I know, it's if Dickie Giroux gets minutes, he's going to fill up the stat sheet. He had 10 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds in this one. Like Timmy Allen is an okay, hustle player. They have guys. So maybe they could step up, but I think a lot of the other Summer League teams are actually rather talented, and you're going to want your full squad to be able to beat those other teams. But anyways, the final stats for Scottie Pippen Jr. in this game, it was 25 points again, 9 assists, 1 steal. Very impressive once again. But Gigi Jackson, his numbers, 27 points and 13 rebounds. Just absolutely huge numbers, especially coming on the 23.11 rebound performance against the Mavericks. He came out very aggressive. If there is anything you want to detract from his game, well, there are a couple of things. I think they're pretty obvious. He doesn't pass the ball. And also he missed his free throws. The passing, I was having a fun time tracking this. I literally thought for a while he never made a literal pass. He didn't make a single pass. Going back and watching, some people were helping me on social media. After some of those defensive rebounds, he would pass it to Scottie Pippen Jr. But again, that was like 2 passes. I was trying to find a pass into the front court. He passed it into the front court once to Deke Giroux, where he did a good job keeping his head up, pushed the ball forward. He tried another pass in the second half. It was intercepted. It was a pick six for the Magic. So Gigi not passing the ball very much. Now, is that an issue? I don't know. I would say here's the issue. The issue is we have dreams of Gigi Jackson being elite. And thus, when we think about elite players, we want them to do everything. It's not, I think, being overly critical of him. We're hoping he becomes an elite player, and thus passing sometimes. Maybe it's a good idea. Right now, Gigi has 1 assist in Las Vegas Summer League, and this is in over 90 minutes played. He, in the last 2 games where he had all those points and rebounds, no assists, no steals, no blocks. Jason March said after the previous game, he's really challenged Gigi to guard up, to pressure the ball, to play full court defense. I thought he did an okay job at defense here, but on the offensive end, maybe they're not asking him to do this, but it was all just pure eyes on the bucket, and he was driving. And to his credit, he scored a lot. He made an array of very impressive shots. And let's not forget, he's 19. He was the 45th pick last year. He's only played less than 50 career NBA games. So what he's doing is absolutely extremely impressive. And I said before the game against the Mavericks, I was really hoping Gigi would put together some impressive games because I've been a little disappointed. Again, I had high expectations. And in Salt Lake City, he wasn't very good. In the first game in Las Vegas, it was whatever. But the last 2 games, he has scored the basketball. He's been dominant on the offensive end. Just he's not passing the ball whatsoever. The thing I do really like is him grabbing all these rebounds. Now, some of the defensive rebounds, those are uncontested, no big deal. But I like the offensive rebounds he's gotten. He has 3 putbacks in just the last 2 games. At least 3 that I remember. He had the 2 follow dunks against the Mavericks. In the game against the Magic, he had 1 play. I can't remember which player it was with, but he set the screen for the ball handler, and then he rolled towards the basket. He didn't get the pass, but he was in perfect position for the rebound. He caught the rebound, laid it in. So our 19-year-old Gigi Jackson, who, by the way, would have been one of the 10 youngest players in this year's draft. I saw Chip Williams pointing that out. I was very impressed. He was pointing out how Gigi is still younger than many of the big-name one-and-done guys in this year's draft, including Stephon Castle, Cody Williams, Modest Buzelis, Reed Shepherd. Like, he's younger than all those guys. So when you think about it in that prism, you're absolutely kind of maybe astounded, or you should be stunned that Gigi Jackson is averaging 20 and 10 on one of the best teams in Summer League so far. The only reason we ask for more, the only reason I ask for more in the playmaking is because I want him to be absolutely elite, and I think that will show signs that he's on that trajectory. Also, the free throws, like I pointed out, he was just 4 out of 9 at the foul line, which is odd. This comes after him making 5 out of 10 free throws in the whole Salt Lake City Summer League. So this summer, through, 5 games, he's 15 out of 26 at the foul line, which is 58%. Don't worry. The statistics people tell me that Summer League free throw percentage has low predictive value. But anyways, right now, I think the Grizzlies have 2 very good candidates for Summer League MVP in Gigi Jackson, averaging 22 points per game in Las Vegas and 10 rebounds per game. And in Scotty Pippen Jr., averaging 20 points, 7 assists, and let's round it up to 4 steals per game. Now, beyond that, beyond those 2 guys, the Grizzlies started Deke Giroux, Jalen Wells, and Trey Jemison. Those guys filling in for Jake LaRavia, Cam Spencer, and Zach Edey. Trey had a pretty solid game. He scored the first 2 baskets of this one, both on nice drop-off assists by Scotty Pippen Jr. He finished with 9 points and 9 rebounds. 5 of his rebounds were of the offensive variety. Also had 2 assists and 1 block. Trey is tied for the 7th most offensive rebounds in Vegas Summer League. And if you remember back in Utah, he had 1 game with 8 offensive rebounds. So right now, through 6 Summer League games, he's averaging 4.5 offensive rebounds per game. That's 27 total offensive rebounds for Trey in 6 Summer League games. So he is impacting the game in that manner. Deke Giroux made 2 3-pointers. That's very impressive for him. You know he's going to give you production anytime you give him minutes, but him making 3-pointers, I think, is a big part of his professional career and sticking in the G League or maybe getting an opportunity on another main roster in the NBA. Jalen Wells, it was an okay game. Maybe this is just what Jalen Wells does. I think his biggest play in this one was making a 3 off of a set play to start the fourth quarter. The Grizzlies only made 3 out of 15 threes in the second half. One of them was that big shot by Jalen to start the fourth. Another one of them was a fourth quarter 3-pointer by Deke. So those guys came up in the fourth quarter when it mattered. The overall stat line for Jalen, he scored 11 points, had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. He was 1 for 4 on his 3-point attempts, 3 out of 5 on 2-pointers. Now, off the bench, you had Isaiah Miller, Timmy Allen, Drew Pember, and Lucas Williamson play. Isaiah Miller, who had a really good game against the Mavericks, he struggled in this one, shooting the basketball, just 3 out of 12. Of course, shooting, as far as I can tell, is not his thing. He also struggled by leaving his feet to pass a couple of times, but somehow he ended up with no turnovers because he would just spike the ball down on the court when he was stuck in the air, and the Grizzlies would recover those loose balls. He finished with 7 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. Timmy Allen didn't do a whole lot. He hit 1 3-pointer. That was basically his highlight. Had 6 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Drew Pember, like I said, 8 points in the first quarter. That is what he ended up with for the game. Got 3 rebounds. Also, once again, stopped a breakaway dunk for the second straight game by cleanly fouling a guy. Like, there's value in that. Stopping a sure 2 points and not allowing a 3-point play by using his size and ability to contest a shot. Lucas Williamson got his first real burn of Vegas Summer League. He got his first shot attempts up for the summer. He made 1 out of 4 3-pointers. And because of that, the Grizzlies end up with an impressive victory over a good Orlando Magic team. I think we saw some of that talent. Like Tristan da Silva has been amazing at Summer League. Jet Howard, I talked about him on Fast Break Breakfast on Wednesday. He was quite good. By the way, if you don't listen to Fast Break Breakfast, you should go listen to this week's Fast Break Breakfast. I talked a lot about Vegas Summer League, some of the prospects I saw there. I also answered a listener question that I think you might enjoy that was, how many games would this year's Grizzlies Summer League team with Zach Edey have been favored against last year's Grizzlies team? So I went through all the starting lineups from last year and said which times this year's Summer League team would have been favored. But anyways, the Grizzlies play the Pelicans in about 7 hours from when I'm recording right now. Again, if they win that, the Grizzlies will have 2 more games in Summer League. It's possible even if they lose this, I don't know the standings that well. It's possible even if they lose like closely that they could still be one of the top 4 teams based on record and point differential. I want them to win. I mean, what's the point of getting out 1 game early if you could win a Vegas championship? We deserve a Vegas championship after the season we went through last year. And I think the Grizzlies, again, are well set up to do it. And I think it's impressive that they're doing it with the players that they brought there. Yes, we knew going in, or I predicted going in, I said the Grizzlies would have a good Summer League team. Caveat being, if Zach Edey played, well, he hasn't played. They've still been a good Summer League team. The other caveats were, if Gigi Jackson and Jake LaRavia play, if Scotty Pippen Jr. and Trey Jemison play, on paper, we should be quite good. If our roster is filled out with hustle guys, I said like Deke Giroux, and turns out, it was. Timmy Allen was there. I said we'd have a good Summer League team, and so far we have been. And I don't think, you can criticize the Grizzlies for like stacking their Summer League squad. I've seen some people say that. I think it's preposterous. Like you think about Scotty Pippen Jr. He's a 23-year-old on a 2-way contract. 27 career games. Scottie Pippen said after the game, he's just trying to prove he's a backup guard. He's not trying to prove any more than that. So like Scottie Pippen Jr. is still very young. if Scotty Pippen Jr. was a rookie this year, you think about maybe the excitement would be even greater. I feel like league-wide, I'm not seeing enough people talk about G.G. Jackson. I mean, I might harp on the fact that he has 5 assists in all of Summer League, including Utah, and he's taken 90 shots. But still, I want nationally people to be talking about this is a 19-year-old with 48 career games, averaging 20 and 10 for an undefeated team in Summer League. I feel like that should be getting more headlines. Even Jake LaRavia, yes, he's a third-year player. I don't know what his injury status is for the game on Thursday. I'm guessing he's not going to play. But Jake LaRavia still, he's 22 years old, 70 career regular season games. Jake LaRavia, young, doesn't have that much experience. So, just because some of these guys got a lot of burn last year in the regular season, late in the regular season in March and in April, it doesn't mean they shouldn't be playing Summer League. It doesn't mean the team is stacked. I mean, Cam Spencer and Jalen Wells are second-round picks. Trey Jemison is on a 2-way, has 25 career games played. So I think it's impressive what the Grizzlies are doing. And I think as Grizzlies fans, we can be excited about how young the team is and how well they are playing. And hopefully some of the promising things we've seen in Summer League from these guys translate when it comes to the actual regular season. And with that, I think I'll finish the episode just because, again, the Grizzlies are playing a back-to-back against the New Orleans Pelicans later today. So I'll have another episode out for you guys on Friday. Anyways, if you want to support the show, do that at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. If you join at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast, you can join my Slack channel, the listener Slack channel that I'm very involved in. There's also a Grizzlies specific Slack channel where we talk about the Summer Grizz around the clock. Also, if you join at Patreon, you can get 1 bonus episode a month over there. Also, you can play fantasy basketball with me when the time comes in the regular season. So if you want to support the show, patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. And with that, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Go Grizz!